You have cancer. 3 words that change a life forever. We would like to offer another 3 words. Be an overcomer. Welcome to the 1% Podcast, where our conversations with other cancer warriors, survivors, and caregivers allows us to give you that extra boost you need to face your challenge head on, live life from a new perspective, and forge a path that keeps you moving free and clear. Now, welcome your host and cancer survivor, Truett Taylor.
Welcome to today's episode of the 1% Podcast, the show where we interview young adults who are battling or surviving an unexpected cancer diagnosis. You are not alone, and I promise, by consuming today's content, your soul will be fed with the hope, courage, and inspiration you need to keep fighting for today. I'm excited to be on your journey with you today. If you haven't done so already, be sure to head over to 1%podcast.com to sign up for our email list to see the latest news and updates for all our guests on the show. You can also check us out on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter at 1% Podcast. If you want to join in on some of our discussions, please join our Facebook group, the 1% Podcast. To contact me directly for content, questions, or booking events, you can email me at info@1%podcast.com. Welcome, everyone, to episode 51 of the 1% Podcast. I'm your host, Truett Taylor, and I've got a special guest tonight. We're coming to you with a live video with Miss Fabi Powell. Fabi, how are you doing tonight?
I'm great. Thank you for asking. How are you?
I'm doing wonderful. I'm so glad to have you back on the show. Fabi was on episode 19, and her episode just struck a chord with so many people. Fabi will tell her story tonight. Just to tell you guys a little bit about her story, Fabi lost her husband a few years ago to sarcoma cancer, and she's been able to tell her story and affect thousands and thousands of people. And she started the Josh Powell Foundation. We're going to talk about that, and we're going to talk about a special event that's going to happen 1 week from today in East Nashville. Fabi, I'm so excited to have you here. I'm so excited to tell your story. Why don't you talk about a little about who you are for a second and let everybody know a little bit about your story if they haven't listened to episode 19. If you haven't, go back and listen to that episode. But Fabi, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Sure. So my name is Fabi Powell, and I am the founder of the Josh Powell Foundation. I moved to Nashville 4 years ago for the love of my life, and he just so happened to be diagnosed with synovial sarcoma 2 months after we met. And so that kind of sped up our dating process, and we spent 2 extraordinary years together and just experienced a love that I feel a lot of people don't allow themselves to experience. So after losing Josh, I just had this fire in my belly where I just knew that I needed to share our story, not just our love story, but how Josh just chose positivity and resilience throughout his entire life, really, but mainly with his cancer diagnosis. And I think that's why I was so drawn to him. You know, we had only been dating for such a short period of time, and watching him get this horrible news at 25 years old that he's this 230-pound linebacker for Army who just got stationed at Fort Campbell and finds out that he has cancer, and just watching him take that news with such grace and positivity, and just, this is just a bump in the road. I'm going to get through this. We're going to do this together. It just stuck with me. I knew that after losing him that I had to adopt that same mentality and kind of find the purpose within the pain that I was experiencing after losing the most important person in my life. And I just, through him and through my own experience, learned how important your mindset is when you're facing adversity, and how positivity plays such a huge role in your outcome, regardless of what that outcome looks like. And so that's kind of how the Josh Powell Foundation started. I thought, you know, Josh was able to inspire so many people through this mindset and this mentality while facing a cancer diagnosis and then losing his life at 27. He impacted even more people after he was gone. And I just wanted to gift that mindset to as many people facing adversity as possible, so they too, regardless of what the outcome may be, can feel good about the mark that they left, can feel good about what they do with the shitty cards that they were dealt. And so I just tried to figure out how to make that happen, first of all. And so now we have created these Powell packs that are gifted to all the newly diagnosed sarcoma cancer patients at MD Anderson in Houston, Texas, and then Vanderbilt here locally in Nashville. And I hope to spread this program out to many other facilities. But these Powell packs are just packs that have motivational, inspirational items that are functional that you would take with you to treatment and just wear on a regular basis. We have these Keep Going, Never Give Up wristbands, Keep Going, Strong Mind, Strong Outcome water bottles and beanies and journals, and just to have a daily dose of positivity. And along with that, we're a platform for positivity. There's a lot of scary platforms out there where you hear the good, the bad, and the ugly. And I just wanted a safe place for people to go who just need that extra dose of inspiration, motivation, encouragement to keep going. And so that's what we do. And it's been so effective. And I just can't wait to continue to grow this foundation and help thousands of more people and allow them a platform to share their story and have this beautiful ripple effect happen. So
you're telling me that you took it on your own initiative I know Josh went to MD Anderson, but you took it on your own initiative to create these Powell packs with the bracelets, the hats, the t-shirts, all the other things that you have as well too. You decided you wanted to carry on his legacy and help out, so many people who had the same type of cancer in him as he did. And you've done that with 2 very huge hospitals. That takes a lot of time and a lot of effort. What is your main motivation behind, you have a great day job. Like this is something that you do because you have a ton of passion about. What is it that motivates you to get up and take that extra effort to go do this every single day?
Honestly, just seeing the ripple effects happen, seeing what Josh was able to do in his short time here, watching other people kind of carry that baton and be able to do the same thing. I just think people who face adversity and choose resilience are the most inspiring people. I've thought that my entire life. I will see somebody with a prosthetic leg just kicking life's ass, like whatever it may be, or, a kid with special needs just working with the biggest smile on their face. And that's the stuff that motivates me. And I just want to empower those people. I want people who are facing adversity to be empowered and carry that baton and do incredible things in their life despite what they're facing. There's nothing worse than seeing somebody give power to something that can potentially steal their life from them, and being able to show people, look, here's a mindset or here's this person. You think you're having the worst day in the entire world, and then you hear this story about this person who just got diagnosed with cancer or just lost their loved one, and seeing what they're doing and just, I don't know, spreading that awareness and spreading that mindset and that positivity. And honestly, I just kind of wake up in the morning, I'm like, what would Josh do? It would be so easy to curl up in a ball and just cry and feel sorry for myself and wonder why this happened to me and why I'm a widow at 32 years old and why I only got 2 years with the most incredible person I've ever known. But instead, it's more like I feel lucky that I had that. And I feel lucky to be able to carry on this legacy for him. He deserves it, but everybody else who never got to meet him and hear his story deserves it as well. And I've just had so many people who have been touched by our story and JPF and our mission and what we do with the Powell packs. I remember just recently I met 2 amazing sarcoma patients at the Race to Cure Sarcoma here in Nashville, and I believe that was in October. And just over the past couple of months, both of them lost their lives. And it's something that happens really quickly. And to hear from those two people, the man, he had told me, I received my Powell pack at MD Anderson. I carry my journal around with me everywhere. It's like just my piece of motivation that I go to, and hearing Josh's story was just so inspiring to me, being a newly diagnosed sarcoma patient. And that I carry with me. And those are the people that make me continue to dig deep and find the motivation to keep fulfilling my dream to have this nonprofit just grow and explode and help more and more people. And then the young woman who passed away, her husband reached out to me shortly after, like a few days after, and just said, my wife loved looking at the Josh Powell Foundation posts that you put on social media and was just so inspired and empowered by them. Keep doing what you're doing, you know? And it's just those little messages once a week, twice a week, whenever it may be, that's like, okay, what I'm doing is making a difference and I need to keep doing this. So that's the why behind it all, really.
Yeah, your story is so powerful. I know I've told you this before, but when I went down to MD Anderson, I met some of the people that knew you. And just because of how powerful you are and all the things that you've done, they actually sat down and talked with me about the podcast and were super excited. And they just said all these great things about you. And they actually got to experience that process with you guys. And they knew how passionate you were about that. And they were so thrilled to be able to give out those Powell packs to all the sarcoma patients on the sarcoma wing down at MD Anderson. And just to see how all of your dedication has gone and just spread out to so many different people. I see all your social media posts. I see the bracelets. I see the hats that people can purchase now as well too. I see the softball team that you guys have that has the jerseys that were sponsored and stuff as well. You guys are doing so much and you're spreading out so much awareness. And I want to tell people, whenever you give to the Josh Powell Foundation, you're not just giving money. You're not giving money because you feel sorry or you feel so much sympathy towards anything. You are giving money that's going to go take your amount of money is going to spread out to thousands of cancer patients. And you're not donating to a person, you're donating to a cause, and that cause is helping thousands of people. And you have one person, you're a one-man show when it comes down to doing this. You're putting all your effort into that. And your effort takes donations from people to be able to supply to help pay for these Powell packs and all the other great things that you're doing. Now, let's talk a little bit about your event coming up at the Crying Wolf on April the 30th from 7:30 to 11. I'm excited. I get to be there and see you guys and talk at your event and just meet all the great people. Let's talk a little bit about the event. What inspired you to throw this event and what's all going to happen?
Yeah, so Craig Lackey is a good friend of mine, and his kids own the Crying Wolf, and he does a writer's round monthly that is called Song Nest Live. So I've done events there in the past, and he wanted to get together with a dear friend of his, Caitlin, who is a fashion designer locally, and they wanted to do a writer's round / fashion show type of event, which is really unheard of in Nashville. And honestly, I don't think I've ever heard of like a cool dive bar, singer-songwriter night with a fashion show and live artists. I've never been to anything like that before. And they wanted to have a nonprofit involved so that some of the proceeds could benefit a local nonprofit. And Craig reached out to me immediately, and I, of course, said yes. And so, yeah, it's going to be an amazing night. There's going to be 15 incredible artists with all different backgrounds. There'll be people there who are on The Voice, American Idol. It's MTV Real World. And then one of my good friends, Adam, he's written hit songs for Cole Swindell, George Bentley, Luke Bryan, you name it. And so it's just going to be great, amazing music. All the artists will be wearing a piece of clothing from Caitlin's line. Lily Gilder is the fashion clothing line. And it's just going to be super cool. We're going to have an amazing live artist, and we're going to auction off his art at the end of the night. There'll also be local artwork on the walls that are there for purchase. We'll have some JPF and Never Die Easy merch as well. It's just going to be an awesome night. There's different tiers for tickets. VIPs come early, and we'll have champagne and Some of the local restaurants are going to be catering, sponsored catering, and just going to be amazing. And it's all going to a great cause. I actually just got an email yesterday from the social worker at MD Anderson. She's like, we're running out of Powell packs and the nurses are freaking out. We have to get another shipment. I'm like, don't worry, I'll send you what I have right now, and then I'll get you a big shipment next month. And so these Powell packs are a big deal, and they're making a big difference. And all of these donations that are going to come through this event are just going to allow us to continue to support these people. They say that there's probably going to be about 1,000 newly diagnosed cancer patients that will go through MD Anderson alone for sarcoma this next year that will be treated there. So that's $30,000 that needs to be raised just to support those newly diagnosed patients. And now that our program's implemented at Vanderbilt, that's 400 more patients. So there's a lot of people being diagnosed, which is just heartbreaking. But if we can help just empower their mindset and give them the encouragement and motivation and inspiration that they need to get through their battle with sarcoma, and they can be empowered rather than giving their power to their cancer and allowing it to rule their lives, I think we're doing something really good.
Well, I'm super excited to be at the event. I can't wait to be there. And, if you're in Atlanta and you're listening to this and you listen to the podcast, Nashville's only 3.5 hours away. You can follow us up there. We're going to stay up in Nashville a couple of days. And Nashville's a fun place anyways. You can have a lot of fun in Nashville in a few days. But I'm really excited, looking forward to April the 30th at 7:30 p.m. But if you can't make it to the event, there's different ways that you can donate to the event. Imagine yourself, imagine that Powell pack that you donate to people. If you donate into the Josh Powell Foundation for this event, you are actually supplying someone who was recently diagnosed with sarcoma an opportunity to have a journal, to have all this literature, to have a pack, just to let someone know that they're not alone and someone else cares about you who has never even met you. And me being a cancer survivor, I know myself, when I was going through, all of my treatments and everything, it was always so impressive to me that someone I didn't know was making a way, for me to feel better. When you're at your lowest point, it's the people that come down in the trenches with you that really make a difference in your life. And your Powell packs being one of the first things that they get when they're newly diagnosed, you're getting down in the trenches with people. And I think that's such an honorable thing. And again, everybody that donates today, all the way up to the event, even at the event, I want you guys to know what you're doing and how much of an impact that you're going to have on so many cancer patients' lives. So again, I'm super excited to be there. I can't wait. Last time I was in Nashville, it was like 10 degrees and like the wind was blowing and it was snowing and it was miserable a couple of years ago. But the weather looks great. Yeah.
I think it'll be nice and warm.
So if someone wants to donate to the Josh Powell Foundation, I know they can go on your Instagram page.
Yeah, so
Facebook page.
Yeah, if you go to the Instagram page, in our bio, there'll be a link, ticket link for the event. You can actually donate through the ticket link. There's a donation drop down. You can also go to the Josh Powell Foundation Facebook page. You can also go to our website, joshpowellfoundation.org. And then by the event, we'll have a way to text to donate. So we'll update the information on how to do that once that's available. But yes, every Powell pack costs $30, and every $30 that's donated will provide a Powell pack to a newly diagnosed sarcoma patient, and it'll just allow them the opportunity to inspire anyone and everyone who hears their story. So the ripple effects will continue, and this world will just be a better place, and that's what we're all hoping for.
Yeah. Look, in Atlanta, $30 doesn't go far. So I'm encouraging all of my friends to donate their $30. Donate at least one Powell pack to help someone newly diagnosed with sarcoma cancer. I promise that you will not regret that. It's $30. You won't miss it. That's like 4 or 5 boxes of Girl Scout cookies. I know they're just selling those around here. But yeah, really take the time and reach out and impact someone's life you'll be in someone else's hands inside that Powell pack. And so, well, Fabi, I'm so excited. People can go to joshpowellfoundation.org. They can go to the Instagram page, the Facebook page. There's so many different ways to donate. Yeah. They can show up on April the 30th and buy a ticket to get in. There's so many different things people can do. Well, again, thank you for being part of this bonus episode. This is episode 51 of the 1% podcast. Guys, we've crossed over the 50 mark. And there's so many opportunities, so many cool things I have coming up for you guys. With all these new speakers that we have coming on, a little bit of a different format, a lot of interaction. And you guys definitely go check out the 1% podcast, take a look at all the past episodes, get caught up, because next week I have an amazing story. I'm actually going to share something very personal from myself that I shared recently that people haven't heard so far. So you guys are going to get to hear all of that. But definitely go check out joshpowellfoundation.org, and hopefully I will see everyone in Nashville. Thank you, Fabi, again for being a guest on the show for the second time. I will see you in a week, okay?
See you later.
Bye.
We appreciate you spending time with us on today's episode and encourage you to continue the conversation to help you keep pushing forward. For more resources based on today's episode, as well as ways to recommend a guest and connect to Truett personally, head over to 1%podcast.com. Be sure to join us next time for more stories of inspiration right here with Truett Taylor on the 1% Podcast.